Okay. Today, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that's because I do a lot of travel products in here. I wanted to share my story on my recent trip. I call it my grand vacation of the year with my kids and my family. And that is mainly on a Disney cruise ship during COVID. So I wanted to share that. Hey guys, welcome back to techgooch. So first of all, I wanted to give a little shout out to my other one of my other channel that I started. It's kind of a little review, but also mainly just videos as things happen. That's Shoe Geek, and I'm going to be posting more things about my trip here on that specific channel. I will put a link down in the description, but it's just a simple channel that I just started recently, and I'm going to start posting things to it that aren't as edited as this channel is. And that said, let's get into this. So I recently took our family vacation that we've been planning for 2 years now, and got postponed last year, and everything got pushed, and then we rebooked it. Essentially, we were booked on a Disney cruise ship, our second Disney cruise that we've ever taken last year. It was actually going to be just me and my wife. Then we pushed it to this year. We added our kids to it and decided it was going to be our family vacation rather than just me and my wife's kind of getaway. Similar cruise. That cruise got canceled because of the ship and because of it was a one-way cruise because it was a repositioning cruise, and of course the ships aren't in position to do it anyway, so they canceled that specific cruise. However, at the same time, there was a little bit longer cruise on the Disney Fantasy, and so we rebooked on that. Now, of course, during all that, we're getting cruise credits because they're canceling our cruises, so they give you a little bit bonus if you just rebook rather than ask for a refund, which is always nice. And so we were able to get a 7-night voyage on the Disney Fantasy, which is one of the 2 larger ships that they currently have before the newer ships hit next year, or the first of the newer ships. That said, I'm not going to get into that so much, as the fact that I wanted to talk about my experience during COVID. Now first, we actually spent 2 days at Universal Studios Orlando, stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel at Universal Orlando, and that was fantastic, I'll be honest. We were there on a Thursday and a Friday in the parks. Thursday was awesome. It kind of had a little bit of rainy, oh no, what's going to happen today? It was cloudy, it was a little gloomy and things like that. However, the parks were pretty much not dead, but they were really awesome. I mean, we didn't wait in more than a 30-minute line total. I mean, most lines were less than 15 minutes for us. Now, of course, because we were staying at the Hard Rock, we got the Universal Pass, the Unlimited Pass, the Express Pass Unlimited, which made it awesome for certain times of the day. But most of the time on that Thursday, we didn't need it really. We still used it, but we didn't really need it. And then on Friday, it definitely got busier. You could tell it was way busier on Friday. And so if you're looking to go down there, if you can get in there midweek, it's definitely a better show. That said, then we went to Port Canaveral, spent some time at Cocoa Beach in the morning, and then we started our experience on the Disney cruise ship. Now, Disney cruise ship during COVID. First, if you're 12 or older, you have to be vaccinated, at least as of right now. I think that changes after the end of the year, but that's what it is right now. So this is my experience on my specific cruise. It may not pertain to yours. So we had to be vaccinated. My daughter turned 12 on September 25th, which ended up being the cutoff point that she had to be vaccinated. If she would have been born on September 26th, she would not have been needed to be vaccinated. Now, we were still going to get her vaccinated. That's just how we feel, and I understand it's a personal choice. That's how we feel. And so, but if we wanted to be on this cruise ship that left on October 30th of 2021, she was required to be vaccinated because of her age. She turned 12 exactly 5 weeks prior to the cruise. We got her, she did the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, the exact same vaccine that me, my wife, and my eldest daughter have. So we figured we'd keep it all the same. She got her first shot on her birthday. Exactly 3 weeks later, on that Saturday, she got her second shot. And exactly 2 weeks later, we were at the cruise terminal. So she hit fully vaccinated status quite literally, I think, an hour before we showed up at the cruise terminal. That's how close it was. And that's why they required it. That said, she could have gotten the single shot, and it is what it is. But that said, so you have to, if you're 12 or older, you had to be vaccinated. Second, showing up the cruise terminal, because we are fully vaccinated, we didn't have any kids that weren't. If you did have kids, they also have to take a COVID test a few days prior, and you have to pay for that. But that said, we didn't have that. So this, like I said, this is my experience. So we showed up to the cruise terminal. They spread it out. They tell you, do not show up early. Show up at your time. Now, we rented a car and drove to Port Canaveral, which we rented through Avis because I got a great deal, so I couldn't say no. And at the Avis rental store, they were like, no, we are very, very strict. Disney is forcing us to be very, very strict on how we get you to the cruise terminal on our shuttle. First, we can't take you early. They were adamant about that. They were like, no, they will not allow us to show up early, so don't even try it. So there you go. Don't even try it. Second, if you're coming on a shuttle, you can't have people from other services on that shuttle. Now, it was kind of got around a little bit. We did have one other family that was going on a cruise ship. They were going on a Carnival cruise. They are very lax. They could just drive right over and just drop them off. So they dropped them off first to get them out of the shuttle van. Then they brought us over to the Disney cruise because Disney will not allow them to even show up at the cruise terminal, I guess, with other people that are not on a Disney cruise. More about that in a second, in a few minutes, because you'll understand more things. But we showed up, great. They direct you to where to go. They have these big tents set up at the port. You go into the one, and when we got there, it was really dead. There's not a whole lot of people there at all yet. There were definitely some people that had already done the test, but really no line yet for us. Which I don't even know if they really had a line the whole time, because we'll get to that in a second too. So you go in, they give you as many test kits as you have people, and they have you do the test. They will not do the test for you, so either you do it to yourself, or I was designated, I got to do it to my whole family. So I did my wife and my 2 kids, and the test is just the swab in the nose cavity, not up into the brain scan mode. It's literally just right here. So it's a Q-tip that you stick into your nose, and you just twirl it around like 7 times on each nostril. Good to go. You put it in this little thing, you break off the stick, you close it, and then it goes into a sealed bag, ready for them. And my wife filled out all the cards so we knew whose is whose, and we did all 4 of us. I did myself. It was really easy. Nothing wrong with that test at all. And then came the hurry up and wait, because then after you're done with that, everything's sealed. You they take the kits, you go out back, they get your name, they take down your information. You have a QR code for when you got to the port from getting everything done anyway, so they scan that. Then they shuttle you over to a waiting tent, and they had like 6, I don't know how many waiting tents there were actually, to be honest. There were several waiting tents. And so once they fill one up, then they go to the next one, they go to the next one, and by the time they get done with the last one, the first one should have been cleared out from the people that were called. So you go to these tents and you sit and wait. And literally in those tents is chairs that are all spaced out, so you have at least 6 feet apart between parties. There's a TV that has numbers scrolling, essentially reservation numbers that say when you're okay to go to the terminal, or should it come back positive, where to go to check in with somebody else. Or maybe it's not positive, maybe there's something, maybe they have to retest or something. And so that's how it goes. And when they say 45 minutes, it was almost exactly 45 minutes, how long we waited. And of course, that's one of those, I hope we're okay. We're all vaccinated, I understand, but there are breakthrough cases, and vaccines are only so many percent effective. And I had my vaccine back in April, so it's been a while, so I'm not 97%. Now I'm 70% protected, give or take. So things went down that line, and you're just kind of, I hope I don't want to have to deal with being positive. I really don't. And I was checking my app, constantly checking, seeing the status of the tests, watching the screen for my reservation number at the same time, going back and forth, playing a game, going back and forth, playing a game, just kind of trying to get the time to pass. And then, boom, it showed up. We're good. We got green check marks on all 4 of us. Oh, yes. And it was they must do them in batches, because as soon as we got ours, there was like 6 or 7 other families that got theirs too. So it was great. Then you leave. You have to check out that you're leaving the tent, that yes, okay, you're good. And then you go to the terminal. You go through the security checkpoint. They send you up. There's no more lines up in the terminal like there used to be, where you check in and just sit there and wait for an hour or whatever it was to get on the boat. Nope, they shuttle you right onto the boat. You get your picture taken if you want, and then onto the boat. And then it was kind of cool because they announce you just like they always did.
Nancy, please welcome aboard the SOOOO family.
Hi, welcome. Gryffindor, oh yeah.
You get on the boat. It was fantastic. Hey, lunch is being served right now. Head on up. So we headed on up to the top, go to the cabanas, and eat our lunch. It was not a bad experience. For as bad as I was anticipating it being, I guess, getting onto the boat. Yeah, it was a little hope, but in all reality, it was a really, really good experience. Disney's doing a really good job. Now, I'm not going to talk about everything about the cruise, but about the cruise specifically, the ship holds over 4,000 people. When it's full capacity, it's like 4,000, 4,400, something like that. A lot of people could fit on this boat. On this boat, there were 1,230 crew members. Don't quote that exact number. I know it was more than 1,200. They on the first day, they actually let us know. There were over 1,200 crew members on the ship. And there were just over 1,300 people on the cruise that were not crew members. So we literally almost had one crew member per person on the cruise. It was an experience. Now, one, you have to wear masks inside. You don't have to wear them when you're outside on the deck. That worked actually really well. The only time that I didn't like it, and my wife would definitely tell you, is when you're watching, like if you're in the movie theater or you're in a show and you're just sitting in a seat and you're all socially distanced from everybody and you still got to keep your mask on. That's the only one that I wish that Disney would have lifted. We have all these people, they're fully vaccinated on this ship. Everybody's been tested on the ship. I understand that there is things, but that specific instance I was not a big fan of. However, I'm going to play the devil's advocate because I like looking at things from both sides. If I'm Disney, the point is I do not want a single case on my boat at all. And if I do have one case, I want to contain it as fast as possible and keep it from spreading. Because it's a PR nightmare when you have a ship. I think the beginning of the pandemic kind of shows that with the whole Diamond Princess and all those. You don't want it exploding. You don't want it going out of control. You know, you go to the theme parks and it's amazing how crazy they are. But on a ship, you're contained. You're by these people all for, and this is a longer cruise. This is a 7-night, 8-day cruise, right? So I understand it. I do understand it. It's not to say I'm happy about it, but I do understand it. So that said, the other things that they're enforcing. So we did do a port adventure. We stopped in Cozumel in Mexico and Nassau in the Bahamas. That's our two big ports other than Disney's private island. In Nassau, we did a port adventure on Blue Lagoon Island, which I will have a video on, our experience. And that is when we found out that because of our port adventure, they gave us all the information about the boat launch, basically, that takes us from where the cruise ship is over to Blue Lagoon Island, and then later in the day brings us back. Not only is Disney not allowing you to go on to shuttles and stuff coming to at the beginning of to the port itself for disembarking, they do not allow you on these port adventures to share boats with other people from other cruise ships at all. And Disney knows that the things that they're doing and putting things in place, they're not doing as strictly possibly on those other cruise ships, and it's maybe not as well enforced. I don't know. It is what it is. But that said, Disney actually put it in force. It is like, hey, these are the ships, boats, they're going to be right outside our ship. You're going to get on those. They're going to take you to the island. Now, here's the times you have to come back, at 1:30 or 3 o'clock, period. Those are the two times you have to come back. If you don't come back at those times, you miss that last boat, and you have to come out on another boat later with the other cruise ship or whatever, you will spend the rest of your cruise in your stateroom under quarantine. That's how they said it. And they made sure that everybody heard it. Hey, don't mess around. These are the 2 return ships that we have, return boats that we have specific for Disney guests. We don't want, there's no mixing. You have to be on those ships back. Also, when we were on the island, you could tell that they were curtailing to Disney and the other guests. Disney had its own specific area for lunch on this island, on Blue Lagoon Island. We had our own bar for picking up, I think we had our own bar for getting food and drinks, and we had our own section of tables that were just for us to enjoy supper. They're all socially distanced, or lunch, I should say. They're all socially distanced and everything. Disney is very strict, I think, and that's why during this time I was happy to have that port adventure. Now, I will say this. I had that port adventure booked directly. I had to cancel it because, or I shouldn't say I canceled it. They canceled it on me. The island did. And told me that, nope, you have to book it through Disney. I apologize, but that's how it is. And now I understand why. Actually being on the ships, I understand why. Disney, and I'm sure these other cruise ships are doing something similar, they're trying to make sure that they are not another case of, hey, there's a cruise ship in port and it's got 50 people that are sick with COVID. They do not want that. They do not want that tarnished on anything, and they want to make sure that the government knows that, hey, we can handle our operation just fine, let us be, right? And they're doing everything they can. In the theaters, as in the movie theater and the standard theater, they're skipping rows, so there is always a row of chairs between you and the other guests. If you're in the same row as other parties, they have at least 3 empty seats between parties. They're not allowing you to just rush into the theaters. They are actually taking you down, setting you down which aisle, stay 3 seats away from that party, and sit down. And they tell you exactly where to go, and they're doing it organized. Now, of course, like I said, the boat was a third full, maybe less. So they can do that. They don't have 4,000 guests that are rushing on it. And I don't think they would even allow 4,000 guests on there right now. But it is something to say. They are being very controllative, and they know exactly what they're doing. You can tell that they spent a lot of time doing everything they could to make sure things are as good as they could be. Now, they used to have, at the top restaurant, Cabanas, they used to have, you just go out and get a sanitizer wipe to wipe your hands. Now they actually have soap stations set up on both sides of the restaurant. When you come in, they have one party. That party washes their hands. Once that party is done washing their hands, then the next party can go in and start washing their hands. They have 3 sinks on each side of the restaurant for you to wash your hands. Or I guess it'd be 6 because there's 2 entrances in this on the forward side, 2 entrances on the aft side. So there's 6 washing stations. It's all about making sure things are as clean and sanitized and everything as possible without just squirting hand sanitizer on everybody. Now, still with the standard restaurants, you still use the hand sanitizer wipes. They don't have the sinks down there. But at the primary one at the buffet, and the buffet now, you're not serving yourself. You're just telling them, yep, I want that. Yeah, give me 2 of those, give me whatever. And they'll put it on the plate and then hand you the plate. That wasn't a big deal. Yeah, it took a little extra time. It did. But again, you don't have as many people on the ship. It works great. It was also fantastic when you're eating supper in the main restaurants. We had a table, and there was not a whole lot of people around you. There were empty tables around us. Our seating time was in the first dining, and technically it was at like 5:50 p.m. was our assigned. We were told, no, you can come back. You can come in as early as 5:30. That's when we open the restaurant. You don't have to wait till 5:50. You can come at 5:30. You're good to go, and just we'll handle it from there. I don't even know if our service had another table, maybe one other table during our seating time at all. And our servers were awesome as always, but they definitely put us first. They served us 100% fantastically. They gave us all the food we could ever want. I had, like, prime rib night. I was like, I love prime rib. I'd love to have 2 prime rib. Yep, we'll do 2. And of course, that's normal. But then I got a plate of 2, and then he brought extra entrees and appetizers and stuff and put them in the middle of the table, even more than they did the last cruise we took with Disney. And they, like all cruise ships, they do a really good job typically making sure that you're well fed because it's all included. They didn't horse around. They were fantastic. My drink never got less than half full. I never had an empty beverage. They were on it like that. It was just awesome. So the capability of these employees or cast members, as Disney calls them, they are fantastic. And like I said, I haven't been on, or maybe I haven't said, I have never been on another cruise ship. So my experience has been on a Disney cruise. This is our second cruise ever. And I'm looking to try the other cruise lines down the road. But if you are even worried about going on these, specifically the Disney cruise ships, during this pandemic that is ever stretching and ongoing, do not think twice. If you're considering going, go. It was amazing. This cruise was by far the best cruise I've ever been on. And my first cruise was amazing. Our first cruise we did was a 4-night on the Disney Dream. This is the sister ship. And we had nothing but great things to say. We didn't want to get off the ship. This is a 7-night cruise. We didn't want to get off the ship. We wanted to keep going. It was so awesome. And there's never a line longer than maybe 5 minutes for the Aqueduct water slide. There was never a line more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Now, and this is something that is new. They will not fill the pools to capacity. 13 guests is all they would allow in the main pool. If it filled to 13, you had to wait on the side. And it happened during the peak times of the day where there was a line over there and they would allow the 13 guests to swim for however many minutes. Okay, you're out. Next 13 comes in. But then it would die down and then they just keep it open and no more than 13 at a time. The hot tub in the adult area, one party could use it at a time. They were very restrictive in those things that you're going to get really close to each other, right? It is what it is. And out there, you're not wearing masks anyway. So, yeah, they definitely wanted to be as cautious as they could be. But there really wasn't... I mean, we never had a problem getting a lounge chair in the middle of the deck. On our first cruise, no. There were times that you could not go up there because you could not get a lounge chair. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You might as well just wait and come back. Never had that problem. So, the moral of this video that I wanted to put out there was we had a blast on this cruise ship. And if you were thinking about going, but maybe I'll wait. I've heard the comment, there is no way that I'm going to pay full price for a cruise when I got to wear a face mask and things are diminished. No. Absolutely spend the money. This cruise was actually probably worth more money in my opinion because, yeah, there were a lot of activities on there. I don't think there were near as many activities as there were when there would be a full ship. That's understandable because I don't have 4,000 guests that I have to entertain. I only have 1,300 guests that I have to entertain. That's understandable to me. That said, though, oh, it was so great. It was so much more relaxing. I didn't have to... There were, like, the room next to me over here had nobody in it. The one over here did, but the one next to them didn't have anybody in it. It was awesome, and I hope that things get better for them. I really do, because they can't be making money on this cruise ship currently. But they are proving the point, and I think it's going to come. Like a wave of people are going to start taking these cruise ships because, at least in the side of Disney, they're doing things right. They're doing it perfectly right. I have nothing but fantastic things to say for the most part. Yeah, I'll moan about wearing a face mask here or there, but in all reality, I'll take it. And it was funny how many times during the cruise, my wife and I would look at each other like, this is awesome. Like, this is awesome. The next cruise isn't going to be like this because it's going to be full again. So we savored it. We really did. At the port of call, at both ports of call, they wanted to wear, like specifically in Cozumel, Mexico, we had to wear face masks everywhere. And that's not Disney saying, that's Mexico saying, nope, you have to wear a face mask on the street. And it is what it is. In Cozumel, when we were on the Blue Lagoon on that one, we didn't have to wear the face masks on the beach, but we had to wear the face masks in the general area. Even when we did our Segway tour, we were supposed to wear face masks, I guess. We could have taken them off for certain parts of it or whatever, but it is what it is. Disney on their private island on a Castaway Cay, if you're in line at the buffet, if you're in the bathrooms, or you're shopping, face mask. Everywhere else, nope, no, don't worry about face masks. You're on the beach, you're in any of that stuff, no, don't worry. And you were spread out anyway, in Castaway Cay with 1,300 guests was awesome. way better. I mean, we loved Castaway Cay the first time we went. This was a double dip. We got to go to it 2 days in a row. It was amazing having a private island to yourself with only 1,300 other guests on it. So, long-winded. I understand this is a long video. But if you're considering going, go. Go now, while the crowds aren't crazy. Because it's an experience that I am so glad that I had. I really am so glad that I took my wife and both of my kids on this cruise. It was fantastic. So Disney, if you're watching this video, probably not, thank you. Thank you for giving us a fantastic, well-deserved break family vacation. We loved it. So, thanks for watching. Comment below, like, comment, subscribe. As always, I understand this isn't really a tech review, but it's still going on this channel because it does go with travel. So, thanks for watching. Catch you back here on techgooch for another future video review. We'll see you soon.